from an economic point of view.
Yeah. And when we look at procurement, I mean, I know that's one of the things that you look at a lot. And when we look at procurement, and we specifically with regards to diversity, equity, and inclusion, what do you think businesses should start to pay attention to? Where do you see the opportunities there? And where do you see that potentially businesses are not diversifying in the way that they should to be able to support these aims of our country?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the first thing that we would advise corporates or individuals looking in the spaces is to remove the silo mentality. So it's very difficult. We see it within the BE codes itself, right? So you have different people managing different elements of the codes. For us to deliver true value, or for corporates to get a real return on investment, you actually need to have an ecosystem mindset. So to understand how all of the parts move, and that's both internal and external. So I would say that's the first thing. The second thing is that if applied correctly, when you apply or look at diversity from a broader lens, there are many business opportunities. So I'll give you an example of it. Some of the top tier corporates in South Africa and in the world are actually, their view on diversity, and this is a broader view on diversity, they look at it from a business point of view, is they're actually setting up initiatives, departments, functions that are looking to disrupt their own business model. So they're saying, how do we diversify our business? And we want to diversify our business. And how we're going to go about doing that is we are aiming to disrupt our own business model. And what's transpired and happened out of that is there's a lot of, within their value chain or their extended supply chain, they've identified innovative new technologies, new businesses that they would never have considered, because they have this view of, we need to diversify our business. And that means we also need to diversify our supplier base.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we want to disrupt ourselves. And that is when you add all of those things and you look at it from all of those lenses, you actually find opportunities where there's innovation, where you're reducing your cost base from your supply perspective. And that's actually effectively making your business more valuable. So it requires a different lens of saying, how do I look beyond what we currently know? And how do we identify value in our supply chain? And that requires you to have a diverse mindset first around your business. How do you think differently about your business?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it seems sort of quite overwhelming when you put it like that. I mean, what is a great place to start? I mean, obviously, they definitely should speak to you. I know that, but what is like a great way to start? And is it to start to look at all of your suppliers, or is it start to isolate the data points around that?
Yeah, that's how we generally start with our clients is alignment, right? So there has to be alignment on what it is that you're trying to achieve. And there's various methods that you can use for that. Once you've got alignment of where you want to go and what you're trying to achieve, what you need as a guiding principle or a guiding sort of light is data. So what tends to happen with corporates is they've got this vision, it's great, etc. But because of internal dynamics within the organization, external pressures, etc., you often tend to lose sight of your North Star. And then projects never succeed. How we help corporates with that is we have a very data biased view on how we get to the North Star. So we have we use big data analytics to help our corporates synthesize what is actually happening in their supply chain. Who are the suppliers that are there? What value do they bring? Are you overpaying, underpaying? Are there opportunities for innovation, etc.? And you can only do that by collating large sums of data and helping corporates to make sense of what's actually happening in their supply chain. So I'd say those are the two things is corporates need to identify a North Star, and they do that. But your sort of guiding principle around helping you get to your North Star is data. And that requires big data analytics, because that's where the insights and the opportunities for diversification sit. It sits within the data.
Okay, that's really interesting. And I mean, I think one of the other things that I find, just obviously from running a smaller business as well, is that, I think that there are some policy reviews that we need to have a look at as well. I think it's really hard to diversify if especially in South Africa, where like the SME market can't necessarily work on like very long payment terms, or can't necessarily work on like, a 60 or 90-day payment cycle. I mean, I think there's a large part of the market, and those people that are running the businesses that, as you say, are supposed to be moving to the middle of the diamond, that are being excluded from the market with big policy. I see that from we talk about it from an employee experience perspective, and say, when you're onboarding people, you've got to have a look at how does your policy support bringing in people that have different backgrounds and different work experiences and different economic setups into your business. If you haven't had a job for a long time, for example, you need to pay that person daily to start, then you need to pay them weekly, then you need to pay them monthly. But that takes some time so that they can actually get into, being able to get themselves to work without incurring more debt. And that policy dictates that can't happen all the time. So I think that there is, as you say, a new mindset that needs to come in to say, how do we actually make that vision come true by changing some of our policies as well?